graphics. Now what if we lower this even further to 37%? Now we are at 620 FPS. Yes, the game looks like garbage, but the numbers don't lie. 800, 1000. We hit 1000 FPS with a R9. We just hit 1000 FPS, guys, with the R9 290. Yes, it looks like shit, but yes, you can still do triple edits. Yo, what's going on, everybody? New for Beans over here. So I just put in the R9 290, and now we are going to pretty much turn on Fortnite for the first time without messing with Radeon software at all. We're just gonna skip all this and just go straight to Fortnite. See where we start at with the base settings that AMD gives us. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna put this in performance mode. And this is the first time we're gonna be loading in Fortnite. Okay, so we're gonna go in creative. Now the first thing right off the bat that we're gonna have to change is we're gonna take a look here whether DX11 is better than DX12, right? So right off the bat, if we go to Fortnite, we see our FPS is 120 between 110 and 120. Right, let's go ahead and see. We have unlimited, full screen 1920 by 1080 from 90 FPS to 280. Alright, so there's a difference already. Let's go ahead and go into creative and see how much can we push with this R9 290. I'm running this on my 240 Hz monitor, running with a display through a display port. So we're at 180 FPS. Okay, not great, not bad, but look, we're jumping to 250, 240. Wow, 240 FPS. Okay, let's see how we do on our. We're right at 240. Looking at. As you can see, I can do my triple edits. Honestly, I don't know why it feels better than Nvidia. It feels a little less input laggy. Alright, let's go ahead and end the game and remove the filter. Because this filter is cool, but it's only cool when you have everything on high. When it's not on high, it kind of looks weird. So let's go my island and remove the filter. Because obviously any filter we add is just gonna add more weight to the GPU. Alright, so now we're at 240, 250 FPS. But as you can see, above 200. Now, question is, can we push past 200, 250? So, this is the settings we have. 240 FPS, right? Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and try doing this with DirectX 11. So let's go ahead and switch this to DX11. Right now we're looking at 360 FPS with DX11, so that's already looking really good. Let's go ahead and load into creative. Remember last time we had about 250 FPS, but with DX11, because this is an older graphics card, we're gonna get more FPS. Looks like we are about 280 FPS. Slight improvement, 250 to 280. So it is a nice improvement. Now we're sitting at 325 FPS, which is definitely better than what we had. But now it looks like when we actually go into a game, we are gonna be dropping below 240, about 160, 180, which is not terrible, but it's not ideal. So here in the game we have 165 FPS. So this is in the lobby, so I'm assuming in the actual game it's gonna be something similar. Now we can go into the creative island and it will be a lot better. As you can see here, we're at 270, 280 FPS. So this is 30 FPS higher than what we did on DX12 without any optimizations to anything. This is just switching from DX12 to 11 in Fortnite. You can do that yourself, and you can instantly see if it's worth going all the way to optimize your game and PC for DX11 or DX12. So obviously, this is an older card, really old. So DX11 is just gonna work better for it. DX12 is meant for newer cards. Now we're sitting at 260 to 270 FPS. The first thing we're gonna do, which is definitely gonna help, first of all, is put OBS when you're recording on performance mode. That's gonna really help you out. As you can see, we just jumped up about 10 FPS, right? Before we do resolution, let's put it to full screen, because DX12 or DX11 full screen is gonna increase it. See, our FPS just went up to 280. It went from 270 to 280 because we put it in full screen, quote, exclusive mode. Now, is it really full screen exclusive? It is not. So that means that we can actually possibly get even more benefit when we do the next optimization. But again, before that, what we want to look at is all these settings to be off. Another thing we can take a look at is record replays. Right on the bottom, record replays, make sure that's all set to off. Another thing is if you go Alt Z, you'll notice Radeon will come up here. Now with that, we actually want to disable the in-game overlay for Radeon. So to disable the overlay, this is what we're looking for. You go to Settings, General, In-Game Overlay, turn it off. Alright? Boom. Upgrade Advisor, System Tray Menu, Advertisements, Toast Notifications. Turn everything off. Boom. So now, when we go Alt Z, it doesn't show up anymore. And we just unlock a little bit more, gave a little bit more power to our graphics card. If you want to be playing at 100 or 240 FPS consistently, right? You're gonna need to lower your resolution. But it's not the worst thing ever. It's not the end of the world. But you are definitely gonna have to lower your resolution because there's just no way your graphics card is gonna be able to keep up with it. The whole point when it comes to optimizing this is finding the right balance between resolution and quality for you. So here we're taking a look at the resolution, 1920 by 1080. Our FPS is in a lobby 167. That's not enough. We want 240. Go to settings. Let's go ahead and push it out to 1600 by 900. Apply. Back. Boom. We jumped to 200 FPS. 160 to 200. That's a 40 FPS boost. That's good. It's not great. Now 1280 by 720. Remember, the aspect ratio is still the same, so you're not actually losing any competitive advantage by lowering your resolution like this. Now with 1280 by 720, as you can see, we are at 250 FPS, right? Look at that. That's exactly where we want to be at if you want to push 240 with this card. Now, yeah, the game doesn't look great. In actual creative, we are at 450 FPS in the creative map. Wow, 450 FPS. Insane. We literally, as you can obviously tell, the resolution is what really is hurting the graphics. Now, what if we lower this even further to 37%? Now we are at 620 FPS. Yes, the game looks like garbage, but the numbers don't lie. 800, 1,000. We hit 1,000 FPS with a R9. We just hit 1,000 FPS, guys, with the R9 290. Yes, it looks like shit, but yes, you can still do triple edits. Yes, you can still do all your edits. Okay, and you have, there's absolutely no, it doesn't look great, but we can do, this is obviously overkill. You don't need 500 FPS, but if you need to really just sweat it out for a little bit, I need every FPS you can get. Every little bit of FPS you can get, then sure. Lowering the resolution that low, yes, I'm at 300 FPS, but I really just need 240. So if I put it up back to 100, now we're sitting at that sweet spot of 220, 250, right? And this doesn't look that bad. Yes, it's not great, but it's not that bad, all right? Now we can make it even better with certain settings. So let's go ahead and do it now. Exit Fortnite. Now we're gonna do some very basic optimizations here for Fortnite. The first thing is go to your Fortnite installation folder here, Fortnite game, binaries, Win64. Scroll down to Fortnite client, Win64 shipping. Go to properties, compatibility, and disable full screen optimizations. Okay, go ahead and select that. Apply. Okay, boom. Another thing is go to the search bar, game mode, settings. If you're running DX11, turn that off. So we don't want game mode to be off. Boom. Now we can take a look at the Radeon software. Okay, so here we go. Now what we want to do is, first of all, go to gaming and add Fortnite. You can go here, add a game, and you can manually add it. Binaries 64, and let's go ahead and add shipping. Boom. Go right here, and we have pretty good everything else, but we really want to take a look at the settings one by one, and I'm gonna go over them and kind of explain what they mean. So free sync is just gonna sync your frames with the monitor. You don't want it, you want it off. All right, free sync is off because what that is the same is the AMD's version of G-Sync, and I don't have G-Sync on because it just adds more input lag. Okay, scaling mode, we don't have any problems with scaling, so just leave it normal. Color, we're not gonna mess with colors. Graphics profile, custom, Radeon anti-lag, dynamically adjust frame timing to reduce the lag between user inputs and visual responses. Do we want anti-lag? Yes, we do. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Radeon chill, conserve power, reduces frame rate with usual. We don't want to do that. Image sharpening adds clarity to in-game visuals, especially when scaling up. Lower resolution visuals to high PPI displays. We don't want any image sharpening. It's just going to add more overhead to our graphics card. Now, enhanced sync is an alternative to VSync. Minimize video telling. Don't want that as well at all. Let's go ahead and always off. We don't want to ever wait for vertical refresh, so turn it to always off. Anti-aliasing, use application settings. So that's one thing that I want to point out. We want to allow Radeon to delegate as much tasks as possible to the actual application. So you don't want to be overriding settings that you don't really need to, right? So anti-aliasing, we do have an option in Fortnite to set it. So that's why we're going to use application settings. Anti-aliasing method, now it doesn't matter because we're not using it, so it doesn't matter. Morphological anti-aliasing, again, we don't want it off. Doesn't affect DirectX 12 applications. Now this is an alternative edge smoothing technique with minimal performance overhead. We might turn this on later, depending on if we have extra room to make things look better at our terrible resolution. Now anisotropic filtering, this just improves clarity. We can play with this later, but right now we just want it off. Texture filtering quality. This only affects DirectX 9 applications, so this doesn't really matter. So just put it standard because, as you can see, only affects DirectX 9. Fortnite is DirectX 11 and 12. Surface format optimizations. Allow the driver to override the application and choose a more optimal texture format to improve performance. We don't want to do any sort of optimization to our textures because, again, that adds overhead. We want to have the least amount of overhead. Tessellation mode specifies how the driver interacts with tessellation settings in the game. Use application settings. All right. OpenGL triple buffering, we don't want that as well. The only thing we should have on is Radeon anti-lag, and everything else should be like this. All right. One more thing you want to do is go to General. Okay, and this is where you configure your replay mode, this and that, and that, and this. So right now we just have everything off. Make sure that these instant replay and GIF are off. Leave animations and effects as it is. All right, this is just video settings, so I would just leave it like this. All right, so let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start Fortnite again. All right. Well, beautiful. I mean, we heard about 300 FPS right here in the loading screen where it's at. Now, don't pay attention to the FPS while you're on the bus. So let's go ahead and go to Steam. You want a nice quiet spot. We are dropping FPS, but remember, this is the first time we're ever touching these spots, so oh my god. Well, we have to do another game. What a shame. He had a purple tack. Ouchie. Yeah, it looks like we're getting enough FPS. We're still dropping a little bit. But I'm honestly not noticing any difference between when I have like 300 FPS and what I'm getting right now. I'm honestly not noticing a difference. Like, yeah, we had lower FPS when we were in the air, but we're also loading in new areas, right? So whoa, oh well. Alright guys. Well, that was pretty sad and embarrassing as always. You know how Fortnite is, nice and painful. Well, there you go. We did the benchmark with Fortnite, played some arena. So yeah, as you guys can see, the R9 290 has no problems pushing a lot of FPS, and these are pretty good settings. I mean, I had no problem with the resolution is slightly low, but just a reminder, play with this setting right here. The biggest things that matter is definitely the resolution at the end of the day. What if we anti-alias, but with 3D resolution we'll bring it down to 70. So look, boom, do you guys see what happens now? See how like we are at 240 FPS, slightly below, slightly above, but this looks a lot better than without anti-aliasing, right? You guys see that? This looks terrible at 260 FPS. Terrible. 280 FPS now. But it looks terrible. Now if we turn on anti-aliasing to medium, we're dropping some FPS, but it looks so much more bearable. You see that? Now if we increase it even further, it looks like actually dropped slightly, but it looks even better. So this is where your personal customization is going to come into place. This is how you are actually supposed to optimize this, not just put it low and high. But with Fortnite, you want to set max resolution, you have 1080p, For example, 3D resolution, start lowering it down until you're hitting your mark, and then if you're not satisfied with the quality, turn up anti-aliasing. Let's go ahead and put textures on medium. Still 240, slightly 230 now. 10 minus 10 FPS. Let's put it on high. 220 now, still 230. Struggling though, struggling. So, post-processing medium. Now that really hurts us. 200 FPS, so we definitely want post-processing off. Effects medium hurts us even more. Effects and post-processing. The textures you can put epic actually. Now at 230 with epic textures, but with high textures, we're at the same thing. Let's go ahead and put medium on textures and anti-aliasing. These days, as you can see, anti-aliasing doesn't hurt that bad. Improves the quality, but doesn't hurt that bad when you have low resolution. All right. So this is how the optimization should go for you. It depends on what you want. It's not all about just maxing everything out or lowering this or that. It's all about what you want. Now, if you just want balls to the wall FPS, then yes, go ahead and go 720p. But obviously, that's not really sustainable. You know, you're not gonna be able to do that. I'm already getting a headache. You know, so that's one for you. Depending on the system and hardware you have, you're gonna have different settings. But it's a good starting point to start with 1920 by 1080, about at 100%. And if you're not satisfied and everything on low, not satisfied, then start dialing back this resolution and start turning on anti-aliasing a little bit, maybe textures. See that? So that is, again, I can sit here all day and do this, but this is the process of how I would actually optimize this. I would optimize your personal Fortnite setup. But yep, as you guys can see, the R9 GPU is extremely good at handling Fortnite. Alright, so if you guys want me to do any other benchmarks, let me know. If you have any other questions or comments, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do more videos. Need for Beans out. Peace!